Thank you for joining us this morning at this conference. It's really an honor to be able to give this talk to you. Before I start, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about the place that I work. I work at the National Addictions Management Service, and this is part of the Institute of Mental Health in Buangkok, in Hougang. And the work that we do deals with people. The work that we do deals with people with alcohol addictions as well as gambling addictions and other addictions such as internet gaming, smartphone addictions. So maybe you may have a grandchild or someone you know, a nephew that has an internet or gaming addiction, or you may know somebody who has an alcohol, drug, or gambling addiction. And my center has been funded by the government to provide a medical service to help people recover. In general, most of the people that come to us, about half can stop their habit within 3 to 6 months if they stick with our program. And what we offer is also a same-day service. So if you call our service before 12 p.m., we'll see you by 5 p.m. So we want to give people easy access to come to seek help at our center. And services are heavily subsidized by the government. I think we charge less than $30 for our consultation. The subsidies is provided by government. And one interesting thing about my service is that you don't have to go to a polyclinic to get the subsidies. Many of y'all will know that you need to go to a polyclinic to get a letter from a doctor, then go to a hospital. But if you call our center, you will be able to get subsidized services straight away. To contact my center, in your goodie bag, there is a book called Achieving Happiness in Singapore, and our website and our contact details are in that package inside your bag. So I'll go straight now to talk about the topic, which is the science of aging. And the purpose of my presentation this morning is to help you understand what are the scientific evidence and to be able to help you with more successful and healthy aging. In Singapore, our life expectancy is high. It's very, very high. For most of you, from the audience that I see here, I think you can expect you are probably only 2/3 into your life at this point. So in Singapore, one can expect to live up to about 80 years old. And of course, that's for guys, and women always have it better. Yeah? So women can expect to live up to about 84. So our country average is about 82.4. It's right up there with the top countries in the world. So Singapore, we like to rank ourselves. We always say we want to be number 1, number 2, number 3. So not bad. When it comes to life expectancy, we are number 5. Yeah. Okay. And what is worrying for the government and for all of us is that as we age, you'll find that the number of citizens aged 65 and above is going to grow. Currently, we are about 1 in 8 citizens are above the age of 65, but it is expected that by the time we reach 2030, 1 in 4 citizens in Singapore will be above the age of 65. And that would mean that there'll be much more elderly people around. And as a country, I think we need to prepare for this eventuality. And here's another view. This is called the population pyramid. Currently, you can see that in Singapore, the people who are the majority are those people who are in middle age, people between 30 to 60 years old. But by the time we reach 2050, you see that there will be an increase in people who are aged 75 and above. And the number of people who are working right now to support this more elderly group, will be getting less and less. So that's another trend that the government needs to prepare for. And that's why a lot of measures have been put in place to encourage people to work as long as possible, yeah, and of course, be economically involved as long as possible. These are the three key issues in healthy aging. First of all, something that's very close to your heart is your physical health. Another aspect that people may not think too much about is actually their mental and psychological health. And lastly, safety and security. Aging is also, there are many, many facets to aging. It's a multidimensional issue. And if you want to have healthy aging, you must look into roughly 5 areas. And I'm glad that C3A has come out with that book as well as their toolkit in order to help you look into various aspects of your life, so much so that you can have a great retirement and a great silver year. So the first aspect is your physical health. It deals with your well-being. And in our context today, it's no longer about infectious diseases that are important. In this room, I'm sure that there'll be many people with high blood pressure. There will be many people here with diabetes as well as high cholesterol. These are part of aging, and it is a reality for many people as we grow older. And these are the diseases that the Ministry of Health are most concerned about in the general population, and these are the diseases that they want to tackle: high blood pressure, obesity, high cholesterol, diabetes. Fundamental to your happiness is your mental health. So the second aspect deals with your psychological health and as well as prevention of mental disorders. And that's why we have come up with this toolkit that's inside your goodie bag called Achieving Happiness in Singapore. And it's a toolkit to help you understand what are the factors that add to human well-being. There's also a Chinese version that is downloadable on the internet. If you go to the website, you can actually download a Chinese version. And there's another aspect which is very, very important, and that's the social aspect. Going out, meeting friends, having social activities, and interacting with other humans. This engagement with society and family is a very important aspect of aging. And one of the things that actually concerns many older people is the issue of loneliness. Many people who are who are elderly and alone find that because of their illness or their ability to go out, they find that they're increasingly socially isolated. So it is good that if you can, at this age, go out and get yourself involved in social activities and stay with a social group, and it will be great. Yeah. There's another dimension which I think comes as no surprise to many people, and that's the spiritual aspect. The spiritual aspect can deal with the meaning of life and what is meaningful to you in your life. It may be a religion or it may be not a religion, but attending to your spiritual aspect is very important. And finally, your personal security, the physical security of home as well as your financial security. You'll find that actually in Singapore, the disease burden for the chronic diseases is increasingly will increase from year to year. So in 1992, the number of people with percentage of the population with hypertension was roughly about 22%, but now it's risen to about 23 to 24%. Diabetes is also creeping up. It used to be about 8.6%, and now it's about 11%. And one thing that is very, very worrying is obesity. Obesity stems from the lovely food we have in Singapore. Yeah, you had a nice box of tea just now, and you're going to go for a wonderful lunch. Yeah. So obesity is an increasing problem in Singapore. Can you imagine in 1992 we had only 5% of our population who was considered obese, but by 2010 that number has doubled. Yeah. So it is really a very worrying trend. And obesity leads to many other issues. It leads to diabetes, it leads to high cholesterol. It also leads to people not being so active. And luckily, the one good thing that has come down since 1992 is smoking. Yeah. So even though in the past more people used to smoke, it used to be about 18%, but currently 14% of people of our population smoke. Still not a great number, but at least it's coming down. These are the 5 leading cancers in our society. So for the men, the top 3 cancers are colorectal, the lung, and prostate cancer. A lot of these cancers are related to lifestyle. So for example, colorectal cancer, of course there's a genetic component, but there's also a lifestyle component with regards to your diet. And second of all, lung cancer. Lung cancer is most linked to smoking. So I hope in this audience, we have less than 14% of this audience who smoke here. But if you know someone who smokes, encourage them to stop, because the lung cancer is very linked to smoking. And for women also, breast cancer is the #1 cancer, and followed by colorectal cancer, and then the third one is uterine cancer. Yeah. So again, breast cancer, as shown in the West, has some lifestyle component. It has some dietary component as well. I'll now go through a summary of roughly 164 studies which were done and summarize for you what are the factors that contribute to a healthy aging. The first one, very, very important, is physical activity. Physical activity has to do with going out. For some people, they say walking 10,000 steps a day. I think our Ministry of Health HPB recommendation is, I believe, it's 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week. So that's roughly about maybe 30 minutes a day. So some people feel that, oh, I got to exercise. Got to exercise means got to go run or jog, then in chuan. But actually, you don't have to do that. What they say now that you can just go for brisk walking. Just walk fast. Join a walking group in your neighborhood, and you can fulfill that 10,000 steps. 10,000 steps, I think, is roughly about 8 kilometers. You should be, for most people, if you have time, probably can finish in about 1.5 hours if you want to do 10,000 steps. Yeah. The benefits of physical activity are numerous. First of all, it benefits your general well-being. You feel better once you exercise. Of course, after you get over your sweatiness and your panting, then you start to feel better. Yeah. The next thing is that it reduces your frailty. So as one ages, you start to lose muscle mass and you start to lose bone mass. So physical activity reduces your chance of becoming frail. It also has positive benefits on your ability to keep your mind active. It prevents dementia. It prevents death, especially death by heart attacks. And the last one, when you have a normal body weight, your probability of getting diabetes is much less. When one gets diabetes, it's not just sugar, high sugar in your blood. Eventually, diabetes will make your arteries thicker, give you a higher chance that you get a stroke. It will make your skin color look poorer. It affects your kidneys as well as your ability to feel in your toes and in your fingers. The next issue deals with healthy diet, something that is very, very difficult for us here in Singapore, because everything is so good. So research shows that actually the most healthy diet is the so-called Mediterranean-style diet. But of course, we don't necessarily have to follow that. The Mediterranean-style diet, they have lots of vegetables, they have olive oil, they eat not so much, some meat, but not so much meat. So that has been linked to a healthier diet. But of course, in the Asian context in Singapore, I think eating tofu, less oily stuff, less fried stuff is also beneficial. And of course, if you put less salt into our food, it is also beneficial for your blood pressure. They find that a high-fat diet actually increases the risk of dementia. And actually, eating more fruits and vegetables actually reduce your risk of death. And there's very, very strong evidence for a healthy, balanced diet. in its contribution to your risk of lowering your risk of heart attack. And diet is very closely linked to your risk of diabetes. Once you become obese, your probability of getting diabetes increases tremendously. So having a healthy diet, healthy weight, and exercise is very, very important to your well-being. Smoking harms in many aspects. In fact, I could not find any evidence for any benefits of smoking other than some people feel more relaxed by it. Yeah. And of course, there's maybe a social benefit for hanging around smokers. But in all other aspects, smoking is harmful. It's harmful for your well-being. It increases the risk of dementia, increases the risk of death by heart attacks, death by lung cancer. Okay? So really, there's nothing good to say about smoking. Then now I just want to come to this aspect of psychological health. So this is a survey of over 300,000 Americans across their lifespan. And what the survey finds is that actually when one starts life at adult life at about 18 to 21, one is happiest. Yeah? So people are happiest. People are happiest when they start adult life, and then it goes downhill from there. So it goes down, people get increasingly dissatisfied with life as they go into their 20s and their 30s. And it starts to change at about 50 years old. And the good news for everyone here is that a lot of studies show that at people at your age, life gets better and happier. Yeah. So that's really the good news. And again, the happiness level drops again only in the last decade of life, probably because of illness and disability. But really, there's lots of good news about being in your 50s and 60s. When it comes to psychological health, as one becomes older, there's a really increased risk of depression, anxiety, and you find that your sleep pattern changes. Chances are, as you grow older, you probably need less sleep. You find your sleep is more broken. People wake up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet. Maybe it's harder to fall back asleep, and you find that maybe your sleep pattern is changed compared to an earlier age. This is quite normal, actually. Memory and judgment also will decline, and so will the risk of dementia. So these are a lot of talks today focus on preventing dementia and keeping a healthy mind and engaged mind, because this issue of dementia is very worrying for everybody. And dementia not only affects the person, but you find that I'm sure down here among the audience there are some caregivers who are caring for someone with dementia, and you find that being a caregiver is a difficult task. So when it comes to mental health problem, I've learned through my 20 years of practice that when someone has a mental health issue, at least 3 other people are affected. The person who's caring for the person, probably the neighbors are affected, and perhaps the one upstairs and one downstairs. So really mental illness is no joke. And what about the signs of happiness then? Inside the book, we have summarized all the factors that actually contribute to adult well-being. So the first thing that people take for granted are healthy relationships. I think in our lives, sometimes, especially when you are younger, right, we always want to be right. But the famous saying is that you can be right, but will you be happy? This one applies to married people, right? So if someone either a husband or wife want to be right, then sure kena from the other side. So you may be right, but you may not be happy. So always invest in your relationships with your spouse, with your friends. Keep a social group, So because by keeping a social group, then you start to learn new things in life. I learned something today from the first speaker. Right now I'm an addiction psychiatrist. I used to be a child psychiatrist. I used to work in the military last time even. So I'm actually not in the area of aging. But I'm very glad today because I have learned lots of things this morning, so I'm really glad to be here. Developing a sense of gratitude is also important because in Singapore we have so many good things. I mean, we have a safe environment. We are economically doing all right. We have great facilities like this and lots of opportunities to go out and have fun. So developing a sense of gratitude is important. But of course, in Singapore, we all know what's the Singapore national hobby, right? Eating. After eating, then what's the next one? Sleeping. Then after that, after eat and sleep, very song already, then what's the next thing we do? Kao yeah, see? See? So this is the national hobby of Singapore. Eating, sleeping, then wake up, song already, kao yeah, you see? So that's life, yeah. So developing a sense of gratitude is very important. And together with that is the trying to forgive people. Many people will come in our lives, they will offend us, and we will have a lot of unhappiness brought about by some people. But cultivating that sense of forgiveness is very crucial to your happiness. And of course, getting involved in activities that you care and value. So coming here to speak to everyone is it's actually a very, very happy thing for me because I enjoy teaching the public about things that I feel are important. And so coming here is not a bore. Every time C3A invites me to do something, I'm actually quite happy to help them out because it's in line with my own personal value system. And of course, exposing yourself to funny things regularly. Today, if you go onto the C3A website, I'm sure there are many things there that teaches you how to use the internet and how to get engaged, how to get onto the net. And on the net, a lot of funny things. Yeah. Not to sound political, but this whole morning my handphone has been buzzing because it was announced that Amos E got asylum in USA. Everyone knows that, right? And everyone has something to say about that, right? Yeah. So, and of course, the last thing is avoiding excessive alcohol use. So if you do know someone who has an addiction to alcohol, gambling, or drugs, refer them to our center and we will try our best to help them. The next aspect is of your personal security. This week alone, there has been many reports about scams, about those sex for credit sort of scams, right? Yeah. So please beware of all these scams on the internet. If it's too good to be true, just don't believe it. Lots of scams coming in from the internet, from Nigeria, all sort of things. You won $1 million lottery, yeah? Don't fall for it, yeah. As one ages, think about personal safety at home. So one of the issues that will affect elderly people, especially over 70 years old, is this issue about falls, yeah. So to prevent falls at home, make sure there's adequate lighting. I myself cannot read the menu at most restaurants these days. So I have to take out my phone and yeah. By the way, I'm actually approaching 50 years old myself. So don't think I'm some gina. Yeah, I'm not. So lighting is important. So having grab bars in the toilet, as well as installing tiles that are non-slip. Because all these things contribute to falls at home. And once you have a fall, especially if you have a fracture of your hip, that itself can be fatal. Yeah. And lastly, financial security. So of course, planning for your finances is very important. Another aspect is your own personal spirituality. I think as one gets older, one starts to think about this more and more. So spiritual development deals with issues like thinking about taking an account of your life and making sense of your life that's been lived. We know that as one ages, people will look back and two things can happen. You can either feel you led a great life or you can live a life of regrets. So chances are, hopefully, we choose to live a life now that we wouldn't be regret in the future. And this idea about giving back. So one of the behaviors that C3A is trying to encourage is voluntarism. When you give back to society, most studies have shown that people feel happier because you get involved in something that you enjoy, you meet new friends, and you feel that you're helping somebody. Yeah? And of course, contributing to the next generation. I just want to briefly touch on this thing on meditation, because right now the mindfulness movement is very strong. Different people may have different views about what meditation is all about, but meditation can be both based on a religion or a secular, that means not related to religion. And Brahm Center, they have a booth outside all the way in the corner there, is one charity that was established to promote meditation and mindfulness. And I will show you the benefits of meditation. For those who are not familiar with meditation, meditation is when one meditates, what one's trying to do is actually focus your attention and pay attention to your breathing. And in so doing, if you focus your attention on something like, say, for example, your own breath or a certain sound in the room, you find that a lot of thoughts will start to drift away. And you find that when you are a regular meditation practitioner, your thoughts can come and go and you're not too bothered by it. And in so doing, meditation actually promotes physical relaxation as well as psychological balance. There are 4 elements to actually meditation. First of all, is finding a quiet location, sitting in a particular posture, and focusing your attention. It could be a chanting of a word, or paying attention to your breath. And this open attitude about letting thoughts come and go. It's a very difficult task. I've been doing it for about 3 years myself, and even then, I think I can't go more than 10 minutes. I've been able to cross the 5-minute mark, but I don't think I can cross the 10-minute mark. But you find that as one grows older, I think one is more patient with yourself and less responsibilities in life. You probably could meditate more effectively. But what has been shown is that meditation actually increases calmness and reduces anxiety. And we start to realize that a lot of our emotions are a product of our thoughts. And once you find that you can control your thought and don't let your thoughts run wild, you are less likely to feel stressed out. Meditation also increases your ability to love and be compassionate, and increases your empathy to other people. And it also increases your ability to forgive others. And all this will actually lead to more happiness and well-being in one's life. And of course, the last thing that meditation does is it quiets your mind. And in the quietness of the mind, you find that you can find your own inner self. So the physical benefits of meditation are many. Firstly, it reduces blood pressure. And for some people who have irritable bowel syndrome, it actually helps, it reduces stress and it reduces the symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome. It reduces the symptoms of anxiety and depression. It also helps people with sleep. And it also reduces the lowest incidence of acute respiratory illness such as flu. You find that actually a lot of infections, your susceptibility to illness has to do with your immune system. So if you're too stressed up, you find that actually your immune system suffers and then you're more vulnerable to flu. So by meditating, creating calmness in your life, you find that your immune system is also boosted by it. So I'd like to summarize my presentation this morning into a few points. These are the simple rules for successful aging. Singapore always want the 10-year series answer, and we always want the government to give us the solution, right? Yeah. So this is the 10-year series answer. Okay. So simple rules for successful aging would be, firstly, keep engaged intellectually and socially. Okay, join a social group, go out to learn something new. There's always so much to learn. Actually, most of the time you want to learn about what the neighbor is doing, right? Yeah. But there's lots of things to learn. Ensure your own financial and physical security. Build meaningful relationships with others, and live your life based on your own personal values, and develop your spiritual self. Give back to society by volunteering something that's meaningful to you. Don't smoke and don't drink too much. And then eat a balanced diet and together with fruits and vegetables. And both cardiovascular and weight training are helpful to prevent dementia. And consider if you would like to get into meditation. So all these things, if you put them together as part of your daily lifestyle, will increase your chances for a healthy and successful aging. Thank you very much.